Hello and welcome indeed to the Sprocket Pod. To those of you who are tuning in, thank you very much. As you well know, each week we bring helpful HubSpot content. And this week, Mark and I are really excited to have Anand on with Zuper. Zuper is a leader in the field service industry. Anand, thank you for joining us and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me in the show.
Absolutely. So, Anand, you are the CEO of Zuper, again, a leader in the field service industry. But beyond just being the CEO, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what led you to where you are today with Zuper.
Fantastic. I'm Anand Subbaraj. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Zuper. Prior to Zuper, I spent about 15 years at Microsoft as a product leader. I'm based out of Seattle. I've lived in Seattle for about 21 years, worked at Microsoft for 15 years, like I said. And at Microsoft, I had the opportunity to build some amazing products. I built a product that are used by 1 billion users and another product that is a Gartner Magic Quadrant leader. And my experience and expertise was incubating new products and taking on incumbents or market leaders and win against them. And I loved doing that at Microsoft. And the journey of Zuper started due to a terrible personal experience that I had getting my refrigerator serviced from one of the large global brands. I bought this refrigerator from this large global brand, and within a few weeks, there were some issues. It was making some noise, and I had to reach out to the customer support. And the journey of reaching out to the customer support was terrible and painful. I had to reach out to the customer support about 10 times. 3 different technicians showed up at my place different times. One not knowing who I am, the make and model, another coming in with incorrect parts. And finally, it was 8 weeks later that my issue got addressed. And this is a common problem. We all have encountered this kind of nightmarish story of getting appliance repaired or waiting for technicians forever. And this was the genesis of Zuper. I was not familiar with field service management at that point in time. I'm just a curious product person. I love building products, solving real problems. And when I encountered this, I felt that this is a real problem, seemed like a global problem that required to be solved. And that was how we started Zuper. Zuper means extremely super. And our mission is to enable and empower organizations to transform their field workforce into Zuper professionals and offer Zuper experience to their customers.
That's a pretty interesting transition from working at Microsoft, I assume, on those products were software products to field service. There's humans in the loop that are a different kind of variable. I'm interested if A, there was crossover between that experience at Microsoft and what you're doing, and B, the kind of differences, the challenges there.
Yeah, so at Microsoft, I built software products. I did not do anything related to field service, but my experience and expertise at Microsoft was 1, building great products, 2, data and analytics. I've worked in Azure data, and I was building some of the early products in data, AI, and machine learning. So I'm always this person who is intrigued by data and the power of data in transforming organizations, but had no experience building business applications for field service. But my curiosity drove me to building Zuper, and I used all the fundamentals, first principle of building a great product. And when we were doing the analysis about field service management, the first time I looked up field service management online, found about 150 products in the market. And there were many of them out there. But very soon we were able to identify a few hypotheses of problem statements. And again, this is the core first principles of building great products, wherein you understand the problem statement from a customer first approach. Use the problem statement to define an MVP, which is the minimum viable product. And you go hard at understanding and solving those customer problems, talk passionately with customers, use your network to find who could be the first set of customers to prototype and pilot the product. So we applied all those best practices and principles to get to an MVP and to aggressively go after finding customers.
That's awesome.
It's really interesting to hear you describe that journey, because we have a mantra that we say often on the show and that we use at RevPartners, which is that your CRM is a product, not a project. And I think that really is a mindset that applies not just clearly to CRM management, but from any one business entity to another. I think it really is a frame of mind. And that might be the first time that you're hearing your CRM is a product, not a project. But in your mind, Anand, what could be the difference between project management and product management or product development?
Absolutely. So when you're thinking about project management, you're thinking about few different aspects of project. Number one is schedule. Number two is available resources. Number three is what are the risks in delivering the outcomes that you want to deliver in the timeline with the right resources. But you are just very caught up in the loop of resources, outcomes, schedule, and risk. But you're not thinking of a product perspective, which is going to delight the users of the product. You're very focused on that outcome, and the outcome is just based on tasks and the deadlines to achieve those tasks. Now, when you're thinking about product, you're thinking about customer. You're thinking about users. You're thinking who is going to be the users using the product to get to the outcomes. And that is one of the biggest difference between when you're thinking about a project, which is tasks, schedules, risks, and rewards, and so forth, and a product, which is essentially my end user. And my goal is to delight the end user with the outcome. And to get to that, I have to do a set of steps in a way, and I usually use this phrase of build, measure, learn, repeat, and iterate. It's an iterative process where you're building something, you're measuring the outcomes, you're learning from that, and you're iterating through this process.
The difference of focusing on delighting customers and thinking about the end user, I think, is a really important point that, again, it applies clearly not just to software developers, but really to anybody that is in that entrepreneurial business development or executive mindset. Because I think all too often, at least what I've seen in the revenue operation space or the CRM admin space, is people oftentimes get in that project management mindset as opposed to thinking about the end user, delighting either customers, or maybe their customer is the employees on their team and other colleagues. And having that product mindset is a really powerful thing to have. So it's very cool to hear your perspective on those differences. One of the things that I know Zuper is working on right now, speaking of delighting customers, is creating that partner led program. And I know this is becoming more and more prevalent as a go to market motion and a growth method for a lot of companies. Why is it that partner led sales and delivery programs are so important now? And why is this important to Zuper as a method of growth?
Yeah, so when we started Zuper, one of my learnings from being at Microsoft was to create an ecosystem. And when we thought about Zuper, we were thinking about our go-to-market motions. And as part of that, having a customer-first approach is to learn what are the products that customers use along with Zuper. Because our focus always have been a best of breed approach, and we want to champion the best of breed approach. And when we went to our customers, learned about the various business application, we saw that almost always a customer is using a CRM product, an ERP product, an accounting system, along with the field service management product. And as we started taking that journey of championing best of breed approach, it became apparent to us that we need to deliver or build an ecosystem. And we think of the ecosystem, it is building on partnerships. And again, based on the experience at Microsoft, I have seen how a marketplace can play out rapidly to help in growth from an external product perspective. So as we were thinking about the ecosystem, two things became extremely apparent. One was we need to integrate with other larger ecosystem products and platforms. And second, we need to identify partners, and these are channel referral system integrator partners that are going to help scale into markets, regions, and industries that we cannot go after as rapidly as we want to. Our forte is building products, building great field service management product, and we want to be best at doing that. And our partners are the channel for us that will help us take the product to the customers. Because one of the most important thing that I truly believe is customers, they work on trust. A lot of times the partners bring in that trust from the customer's perspective. And we also believe in collaboration. Partnership is truly about trust and collaboration. It is not a win-loss situation, it is a win-win situation. And we are delivering that win-win for our partners to provide the win for the customer, the win for the partner, and win for us.
Was it the process of kind of building out a system for having kind of that partner ecosystem? Was there a playbook that existed that you were able to run, or was it a little bit of building the plane while it's flying? Were there elements of the ecosystem that Microsoft has world famously built that you were able to apply, or was it a completely different starting point?
No, it was a playbook that I used at Microsoft. I was trying to replicate the playbook, but Microsoft being a brand, it's very easy to attract partners.
Right.
But when you are a brand new startup, you do not have a brand. You are going to partners truly based on the value that you create. So the first principle was to deliver value for our partners and to showcase the value to our partners. And the way to showcase the value is to establish early wins with the partner. So the first challenge was, how do we showcase early wins for our partners through joint go-to-market motions or having a quick customer win, which was very important to showcase the value. Second principle was to have a vetting process to get partners that are aligned in terms of the value that we offer to our customers and cultural alignment between the companies. Because a lot of times, unless there is a cultural alignment between the partner and the provider, it does not work well. No matter how good you are and your partner are, you need to have a strong cultural alignment. The third principle is that almost all partnerships, especially a partnership between a provider and a channel partner, needs to be built on collaboration rather than confrontation. And it is truly important that it's a collaborative approach because you are showing a joint value to our customers, and it cannot be based on a friction or confrontation. So these were some of the core principles or best practices that we leveraged to create that partner program.
We've talked about how Zuper is super Zuper and how really what you stand for is truly delighting the customer. And so it's easy to say that when you partner with a company, they are representative of your brand and therefore they should always aim to delight the customer. But as anyone is going to know, that's not always as easy to do in practice. So what has gone into building and creating a successful partner program that truly allows for other companies to provide Zuper services and be that brand ambassador that they ought to be?
Yeah. So there are a few aspects to it. One is, like I said, it is based on value. How do we create that joint value to our customer? I mentioned about we being the champion for best of breed system. So a lot of our partners, they are also implementing and deploying CRM products, ERP products, accounting products, and so forth. Our goal is to collaborate with the partner and showcase the value that field service management can be an integral part of their solution to deliver that value to their customer. Number two, which is very important, is partner enablement. And by partner enablement, I mean training the partner, giving them the right resources and access to materials so that they can be super successful in representing the brand and also performing implementation and have a faster time to value for the customer. And the third is trust-based collaboration and communication. Constant communication is a key driver to having a great relationship with partners so that they understand your vision, your roadmap, and to deliver that value to the customer. But these are some of the aspects that we have used all the time to allow our partners or enable our partners to represent our brand and truly offer differentiated experience to our customers.
For building out a training program, every partner is going to be different based on the nature of if they are working with a CRM, an ERP software, or whatever underlying service they may provide. What was it like building out that training program for all of these different types of companies that can now come in and work with Zuper?
Yeah, so our learning over the time is that as a startup, if you are too early in creating a partner program, sometimes you're not ready yet to have a partner program, because partnership and building that partner program is almost similar or even sometimes difficult than acquiring customers, because you're applying the same principles, acquiring partners, nurturing the partner relationship, training them, enabling the partners, onboarding the partners, and seeing success with the partners. So we wanted to make sure that we have the maturity in the platform. And once that maturity happens, then you start onboarding partners through the principles of acquiring, onboarding, nurturing, and so forth. Now, like you said, Zuper is a horizontal platform. We work across different industries. Our partners have expertise around different business applications like CRM or other applications. And even within CRM, there are many CRMs out there. Partners usually have experience and expertise on certain platform. So what we did was we identified the CRM players that we want to collaborate with. We identified players that we could collaborate from the perspective of offering value to our customers, having that cultural alignment, and someone that we can partner for a long term. And that's how we selected HubSpot as our partner. HubSpot is one of the best CRMs out there. And more importantly, they truly believe in the partner ecosystem, and from the ecosystem of an ISV partner like what Zuper is on the HubSpot ecosystem. And once we identified HubSpot as a partner, very soon they also became an investor in Zuper because they truly believed in the mission and vision of Zuper and the value that we added to our customer. So then we started leveraging this decision making to find partners in the HubSpot ecosystem so that we can offer that differentiated best of breed value to our customers. But this was one key decision point that we made on CRM, that we are not working with other CRM players. Likewise, we identified ticketing system or customer support system. We identified accounting system, ERP systems, and we identified a best-in-class ERP, a best-in-class customer support, and we started building partnerships through those ecosystems.
It's a lot of trust to allow other companies and other individuals to be that brand ambassador. How do you feel really leading the charge on everything Zuper, placing that trust in other people and other companies, organizations to implement and activate your brainchild, your product?
Yeah, it's been a terrific journey doing that. And like I said, some of the points I'm going to highlight. Number one is vetting out the right partners and collaborating with the right partner. It's almost like your customer acquisition. You have ICPs or ideal customer profile. You also need to have the ideal partner profile. What does your ideal partner look like? Now, once you have established that ideal partner profile, you go hunt down the partners by delivering the joint value with the partner and showcasing the joint value. Once you have done that, it's about nurturing and enabling the partners to ensure that they are representing your brand right, because you are building a trustworthy relationship. Like I said, it's a win-win relationship where the partner wins, the customer wins, and in turn, we win. When all of these things happen, it becomes a great collaboration and a great collaborative journey to offer that value to our customers.
Is there a significant kind of operationalizing of partner enablement in that? Do you have to have a very kind of set motion for onboarding partners, enabling them, measuring success? Is that part of the playbook that you've been running?
Absolutely. Exactly. Onboarding customers, having your GTM motion. We have a playbook here about the ideal partner profile. What does the go-to-market motion look like to acquire partners? We have a budget in place on partner acquisitions, nurturing partner, training partner. We also have a training program that is repeatable for partners. And this is about training on positioning Zuper. It is training on go-to-market for our partners so that they can also hunt down the right customers. And then it is about training on the product APIs, the technical aspects of implementation of Zuper for our customers. And then how do you measure success with partners? Like I said, it's build, measure, learn, repeat. So it's the same kind of model with the partners as part of the partner playbook.
Fascinating.
And when it comes to building out this program and working with partners, Zuper is a SaaS product. And really what you're delivering, though, is the service of field service. And so how do you balance providing a great customer experience as a SaaS platform, as a SaaS product, while the output is humans doing things better than they were doing it before?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting you ask that question because software as a service is now transforming into a service as a software, but I'll stick to software as a service for now. We are a customer backwards company. We put customer front and center in everything that we do. All decisions and actions in the organization is about customer first. Our goal is to build delightful experience for our customers. And we work with some of the hardest customer persona. Like you said, it's a technician on the field. They're performing complex operations, fixing critical machinery. And their goal is to fix the problem rather than getting burdened with technology. And it is our responsibility to ensure that we are offering hyper-personalized and exceptional experience to the technician persona, who is the most critical and the most important persona for us. Then we have back office personas like dispatchers, customer support representatives, operational analysts, foremen, field managers, and so forth. And we cater and orient our experience to tailor it to their needs. And a lot of research goes into this to ensure that the experiences that we are building caters to our personas that we are targeting and delights them in every possible interaction. The second thing is that we measure each clicks that happens on the product to know how someone is using the product. What are the functionalities that are getting used? How much it is getting used? And we leverage the data to constantly evolve the platform to know that, okay, somebody is using a feature extremely well, somebody is not able to use this feature. And it's almost like a funnel to see how someone, when they start a particular action, can complete that action. And how long does it take for them to complete the action? And we use the data and the data-driven decision-making to continue to iterate the product and build the exceptional experience that we are offering to our customers.
Should we jump into the AI conversation now?
Absolutely.
I've been
You've
waiting.
been itching for it, Mark.
Yeah, it's my favorite topic. Before we started recording, we mentioned that would be one of the topics, and we talked about how AI was impacting Zuper, how it was disrupting, I think was the word you used. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your journey as a company into what AI has done or is doing, both within your product and in your go-to-market motion. I know you said you come from Microsoft, which when you were there, I don't know how developed their AI program is, but obviously now with their partnership with OpenAI and Azure, they're market leader. So yeah, I'd love to hear a little bit from your perspective about all of that.
Yeah. So I think the entire software industry is going through some massive shift. Traditional models of database, user experience, human-led workflows are going through a massive transformation. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, we are moving to this world of service as a software rather than software as a service. If you think of software as a service, even what we have in Zuper, customers or the end user would use the software as a tool to perform some actions and to help them get to the outcomes that they want to. And now we are moving to the world where the software itself is performing the action. It is becoming part of your team. So every individual currently, whether it's a leader like me, a CEO, or an individual contributor in an organization, an engineer, need to think about how they can leverage AI to be part of this massive transformation. So from the perspective of Zuper, we are using AI in two different approaches. Now, like you said, I come from Microsoft. I have the experience and expertise on data and machine learning while at Microsoft. And when we were building Zuper, we already at 5 years earlier when we started, we were already thinking about leveraging AI and machine learning. At that point in time, AI was very different than what generative AI is now. We were figuring out how do we create these machine learning models, how do you train them with some data, but use machine learning as one of the core building blocks of few of the features that we built, like our dispatching engine, like a facial biometrics that we offered for two-factor authentication and so forth. But now in the last year or so, it is highly disruptive. AI is accessible. It is the iPhone moment for the world where the experience of AI and people's understanding of AI has evolved significantly. Like I was saying, from a Zuper perspective, we are leveraging AI in two ways. One is how do we leverage AI in our internal implementation and execution? Every function in the company needs to be AI first. Whether it's a marketing function, the way they do their contents, or they make the contents to be produced and consumed by our end customer, it needs to be an AI first approach. Engineering is an area that's, again, massively disrupted by AI. Coders don't have to write unit tests anymore. They don't have to do peer code reviews. AI can do the code reviews and AI can write the unit test. Coding has become much more efficient. They are not spending a lot of time thinking about complex logic of linked list and data structures and all of that. AI can do it for you. And we are making sure that we are leveraging AI to improve efficiency in every function in the organization. From a product perspective, field service is an area that was not thought about highly disruptive from an AI perspective. And I was talking to someone and I was telling them, AI is not going to clear your gutter or clean your gutter. AI is not going to be fixing your kitchen faucet, but AI is going to make this entire operations much more seamless and efficient. AI is going to offer those highly personalized experience to that end customer through bots and other experiences. And AI is going to make field service from reactive into predictive and outcome-based. And those are the areas of disruptions and innovations that we are looking into. And we are evolving our roadmap to be an AI-first roadmap. We are building a lot of foundational changes so that we can explode and build the momentum on delivering AI features for our customers.
I'm interested. Sorry for Cameron I just have
This is, I know
topic, as you know, fascinates me.
you're excited for it.
Endlessly. As a CEO and a former product leader, I noticed that some CEOs who took a back seat to actually getting in the guts of code, or even took a back seat and became maybe just chairmen of the board or whatever, since AI came into the picture more, have gotten off the sidelines and gotten back into code or back into the business because it's just too exciting. Has any of that happened to you? Has the pull of trying to play with the AI, build agents, all that, has that just been too strong for you not to get into it and roll up your sleeves and mess around with it yourself?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Love it. I'm someone who's hands-on. I roll up my sleeve and do coding if it's needed. But now coding has become easier than ever before. You need to be great product managers to understand customer scenarios and provide intents in building and delivering products. And I was reading an article that there are going to be soon one-person billion-dollar companies. And that is how the world is moving towards. It's not far enough that we'll have those companies, because what someone needs to be is having a great understanding of the use case. Once you know what you're trying to solve, you now have access to unprecedented amount of tools that are highly efficient to offer you that capability to build the product, to market that product. There are sales engines and AI agents doing the sales, and all of these things are extremely exciting for me as someone who has been in development. I love meeting customers, understanding their use case. But there is also another aspect of understanding the market trends. Earlier, as CEOs of the company or leaders, we used to understand what is the market trend. But now the market trend means nothing. It's about how AI is changing the game of every industry.
Yeah.
We have to now think of fast forwarding that market trend. What the market trend today, 2 months later, that will not be the market trend, because AI would have changed that entire notion of what's going on.
Yeah.
So to keep abreast of different technologies, how AI is going to cause massive transformation and going to revolutionize every industry, as the CEO, I keep reading a lot of documents, a lot of articles, access a lot of tools that I play with, and also use that to write some AI tools, create those AI agents to perform some of the activities that I do. But one thing that we also as leaders need to be aware of is the responsibility that comes with generative AI. You need to think about ethics in AI. Earlier, we were thinking about security and privacy and all of that. But now with generative AI, you are thinking from a completely different aspect of ethics. And how does ethics play in along with security and privacy, the guardrails that you can provide, what you can allow AI to do versus what you do not want to allow AI to do, because AI can also cause a lot of damage. So this is a very interesting aspect of being responsible, but still leveraging AI to cause the massive transformation in the industry.
Yeah. It's my last question, and then I'll let Cameron jump in. You talked about the $1 billion one-person companies. I also am pretty bullish on that concept. But there was a story late last year about a company, Klarna, that had supposedly deprecated their enterprise software completely, replaced it with basically a chatbot that had knowledge graphs database or whatever, and basically said, we don't need those things anymore. We just have kind of this chat interface. Do you see a world where the SaaS, the software experience with dashboards and tabs and all this becomes completely obsolete, and all of our interactions with software becomes some sort of chat interface at some point?
I think the world is getting to a point where it's going to be highly outcome and intent driven. The entire notion of user experience, and I was having a conversation with our head of design on what the future of user experience is going to look like. It's going to be instead of users clicking in multiple places to get to the outcome that they want to get. Today, it's all about going to dashboards, looking into reports, generating those reports, ability to create any reports that you want to create by using a report builder, whatnot, that experience is going to be transformed significantly. Instead of provide or clicking in various different places, using the tools, analytic tools or otherwise, using Excel, it is going to be more about interacting with a wide range of different systems, but providing your intent that I want to know who are the top sales rep in my company. That is my intent, and I provide my intent, and I let the AI agents do the work behind the scenes of leveraging the knowledge graphs, of leveraging the information and data access across different systems to provide me the answer that I know in a highly personalized way. And not just that, it knows my intent. When I ask the next question, it's going to be based on the previous intent. So it's going to be an evolution of the experience where it is going to be very natural language driven. And the natural language is going to be, whether it's a bot based approach, it could be just a voice based approach, but it's going to be the natural language that humans are used to rather than making a bunch of clicks. And the clicks are usually, if you think of the evolution, it went for paper and pen to Excel came and transformed that. You can do things on beautiful Excel sheets, the tabular view, have formula and all of that. Then as SaaS came in, software as a service, it was bunch of highly delightful user experiences that allowed you to use the mouse and whatnot to perform CRUD operations on top of databases and perform human-led workflows. But now we are getting to a world which is going to be highly natural language driven.
Yeah. All right. I'll let you take over, Cameron. Sorry for, it's just that this is
No,
a topic that fascinates me endlessly.
No, I love it. As any of our viewers know, I am much more the pessimist when it comes to usage of AI. We have some episodes that probably my viewpoints haven't aged very well because we did ChatSpot versus, where we put ChatSpot, which was HubSpot's internal AI chatbot at the time, against an external GPT. And I remember thinking this isn't as exciting as I think it ought to be. But the interesting thing, especially for me, being more pessimistic in the past, is I can actually sit here now and I get excited because I know that I haven't always seen the possibility and the future of where it's headed. I'm thinking much more, what's this doing for me today? And Anand, I'm curious to hear from you because I know I saw that Yamini had made a post recently where she had mentioned that when OpenAI and ChatGPT first really hit the scene, HubSpot had made a release and had made a decision that we're going all in on artificial intelligence. And again, they released ChatSpot, and many of us laughed at it. And then here they are today with Breeze Intelligence and many really wonderful and practical features. So I do think that AI is going to continue to become more and more intuitive and intelligent. I don't know that there's probably many people who would even doubt that. But how has that evolution of AI changed how you as a CEO lead the company and how you expect your team to react and respond to the resources at their fingertips with AI now?
Yeah, excellent question. So, the way I'm thinking about this is we need to create an environment, a culture of continuous experimentation. And it's okay to fail. You mentioned about ChatSpot, that was an experiment early days. Now, we need to think of the factor that AI is improving at a rapid pace. And you don't have to think of training models. You don't have to think of having a data science team in your organization. What you need to have is the willingness to experiment by any and every engineer in the company or any product managers in the company, but able to fail fast, iterate fast, and evolve fast. So, our goal as an organization is to experiment by taking a bet on existing models out there, whether it's GPT or Claude or DeepSeek or other models, and to be able to innovate at a rapid pace than ever before. and to release features for our customers and to see the usage of those features, and then to evolve fast. Going by the example of HubSpot, they had ChatSpot, but then Dharmesh also came up with Agent.ai. This is a massive marketplace seeing unprecedented growth. I think it's over 500,000 usage, many different agents out there to perform activities, and some of them are mind blowing. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. But these are the kind of experience that was, or experiments rather, that was not possible in the past. Now those experiments are possible, and it is important to take the bet and building something fast and addressing a use case with the knowledge, with the bet that the AI behind the scene is going to get better at a fast pace, and your experience is going to get even better with course of time. So that is the bet that we are taking. We are taking a bet that AI is getting better. Our goal is to offer this great user experiences, and we'll monitor how the customers are using those functionalities, and will evolve at a pace that was never seen before.
I'm curious when it comes to the evolution of agentic AI being able to, as we've seen, perform complex tasks that were previously being done by humans. And the will they, won't they debate of is AI going to take our job continues to be prevalent. So, what is your take on agentic AI? Is it just going to be making developers obsolete, or is it just going to evolve the role for many people who are in a more technical space?
Yeah. So I truly believe that AI is not going to take away jobs. I believe that AI is going to augment humans. And I strongly believe that the human AI collaboration is going to be extremely critical for the evolution of software for the next several years. I think we are far off from AI taking jobs, unless it's a job that was extremely low skilled. Everyone needs to up level their skill. And this is not just today, it is in the last 2 decades. If you think of how technology has transformed, it has always gone into improvements and improving the efficiency, productivity of every user, every persona. When RPA came in, people said that it can take jobs. It did not take jobs. It still offered automations, it improved the efficiency, but it had like everyone that was doing whatever work they were doing, they continue to do them, but in a much more efficient way. With AI, at least in the next few years, it's going to augment human. There is going to be human AI collaboration at its best, and it's going to improve efficiency and productivity in every function of the world.
Yeah.
I like that take. And I think it follows the theme that Mark, you and I have often had on this show, where it's really important now more than ever to be both strategically minded and technically inclined. You don't necessarily have to be an expert developer, but if you are in revenue operations or CRM implementation, or if you're an executive, I think it's important that, yes, you have that business savviness and that entrepreneurial spirit, but also you're not being ignorant to artificial intelligence, what it can do and how it can help enable you or other members on your team. And same thing, if you're technically inclined, developing that strategic spirit helps to make sure that you don't automate yourself out of it or lose the ability to work cross functionally. I think that will definitely, my prediction is we'll see more and more of that.
Yeah. I think that it's already has created a lot of efficiencies, and there's been a lot of, let's say, cutting the fat in corporate tech. I think as a result of that, it's made people more able to complete more work in a shorter period of time. And like you said, the folks that it's probably tougher for people with less experience and more junior roles. But when you become symbiotic with the AI, you get these kind of superpowers. And I know that for me, as a kind of historically non-technical person, the second ChatGPT kind of became available to the public, I realized it was probably time to start learning a thing or two, and have been building just internal tools and stuff since. And because whatever moat, if you were technical, if that moat is no longer that your sole kind of moat anymore, if you were only strategic or creative, that's no longer fully a moat. You have to have both. That's at least my take.
Yeah, for sure. I think it is going to fast forward evolution of every individual. If you are constantly doing repeated mundane job, these are the kind of things that will get highly efficient by AI. And now it is a matter of how does someone evolve constantly, understands the tools, and they need to be aware of AI. AI is highly democratized right now. I used to talk about democratization of AI 10 years back, but that time it was still requiring data scientists, still requiring training models. But that model, the language models are out there today. Nobody is creating those models anymore in every company. Now, once you have that, every individual right now have their own assistants to perform a lot of work. I leverage assistants quite a lot. I'm using ChatGPT, I'm using Gemini, I'm using all the tools. But it is that evolution that is not just granted right now, everyone has to do it. The need to evolution is faster and required than ever before.
I'm just counting how many different AI assistants I have open on my screen right now, or in my, so I have 5 different ones that I'm using at any given time. So that just tells you where we're at.
And we've talked about, Anand, empowering your team to experiment and not being afraid to fail and really leaning into leveraging artificial intelligence. How do you see AI impacting Zuper over the next many months, years? How does it impact Zuper going into the future?
Yeah, so from a product roadmap, we are becoming an agentic field service company where we are going to leverage AI for unprecedented efficiency boost, productivity improvement, and offer the hyper personalized experience to our customers. And if you think of AI right now, when we started Zuper, automation was an important aspect of Zuper. Now, with AI, automations are easier than ever before. And what we are doing from a Zuper perspective, our goal is to offer this autonomous field service experience to our customers, where a lot of the repeated work like scheduling, dispatching, it'll be performed by AI agents. We are going to deliver AI agents to augment every persona that we are serving. The back office persona like CSRs, and an example is the CSRs and dispatchers, they take calls. We are going to have an AI agents to take calls after hours. A lot of times you reach out when there is a plumbing issue or there is something not working. You reach out to a business at 7 p.m. in the night and you need someone to come in immediately. You always go to an answering service. You cannot even get this scheduled. Now, AI is going to help businesses to handle after our calls when the business owner or the CSR is at home having dinner with their family or spending time with their family. AI is going to help businesses to offer all these efficiencies and productivity improvement on the field. And we are dealing with huge skill gap and labor shortage in every blue collar industries in North America. There were 8 million jobs open last year from a blue collar perspective. And there are lots of businesses who are operating in highly complex equipments. They have technicians with decades of experience, and they're having a hard time to find skilled technicians to come in and work for them because it takes them several years to ramp up the technicians. Now with AI and having history of data and equipments, we can offer a technician who joins on day one to have the kind of information and knowledge of that of a 5 to 10 years experienced technician in the field. And these are some of the capabilities that we are bringing in to continue to improve the efficiency and productivity of these organizations and enable them to offer that hyper-personalized experience to their customers.
And Zuper is clearly a leader in the field service space, leaning into AI, and companies that are relying on chatbots saying this is our attempt at artificial intelligence, they're clearly not going to cut it. So, with final parting words, Anand, what would you say to companies that are evaluating various companies in the service space and that ought to really lean into using Zuper?
Yeah, like you said, I'll repeat, Zuper is the leader in field service management, and we are transforming the service industry with AI. And at this point in time, every service organization needs to think of leveraging AI to improve efficiency, productivity, and offer that differentiated experience to their customers. And Zuper, in combination with HubSpot, we are the best of breed solution for the service organizations. And we have offered the help and value to a number of service organizations around the globe to improve efficiency, improve productivity, stay relevant in their industry. So if you're a service organization, you're looking to leverage cutting edge technology to disrupt your business, your industry, Zuper is the right tool for you. And our differentiation is to transform organizations and help them leverage technology as a differentiator. And we do that by empowering the technicians with the right tools, allowing businesses to offer delightful experience to their customers and grow the business the way they want without getting disrupted and buckled down by technology. So these are some of the things that I'd like to let the audience know about how Zuper is transforming the service industry.
Salespeople want to sell, electricians want to do electrical things, and plumbers want to plumb, and Zuper lets everyone focus their time and energy where it's best spent. Anand, thank you so much for joining us today. To all of our listeners, thank you for listening, and Sprocket on. Thank you for tuning into the Sprocket Pod podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode with your co-hosts, Cameron Collins and Mark Lerner. Be sure to catch us live every week on LinkedIn, and don't forget to subscribe to our episodes on YouTube and Spotify. If you found this episode valuable, please leave a review and share it with others looking to get more from HubSpot. Until next time, keep driving success with your CRM, and as always, Sprocket on.